Okay, let's start. So first is we have to have a proper base in communication so that our communication will be more effective. Okay. So what are basics? Basics are reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Okay. Listening, speaking, reading, writing. LSRW. Okay. As it is said. So why communication is there? It is to connect and share your ideas and thoughts. Okay. To build up a rapport, to build up a proper understanding so that we would understand what is going on. We would able to communicate clearly. There should be no miscommunication. There should be effectiveness in communication, and that's why it becomes important when you join any kind of workplace. Okay, communication is the base of expressing your idea, innovative idea, put forthing your research proposals, your product, your services in a broader sense. Okay, so for that, you need to focus on four things when you communicate. Okay, so reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Okay, listening, it happens when, as a child is born, he or she or it starts listening, and because of that, it understands the language, and after that, he or she starts speaking about it. Okay, so it depends how gradually you grasp your listening skill. Okay, and it's not just limited to your mother language or mother tongue. It is for every language, each and every language. So if you have proper exposure to that language, you would develop communication in that language, and that is what is necessary. Okay, after a while, you would be joining multinational companies, and their English becomes a medium, strong medium for your communication, and because of which you have to develop communication, especially in English. Okay, so what things you should keep it in mind? First are words. Words, their sounds, their pronunciation, letters or symbols through which you write and communicate, and your behavior. As I have said, communication is not just about a language, it has to do with your personality, your style of communication, which matters a lot. Okay, your behavior. So it can be a letter, it can be a telephonic communication, but you should be able to respond correctly. You should be able to answer the questions correctly. Okay. And up till now, you would be having your question and answers, your written papers about English language. But now it's more like in a practical sense. Like you have to spontaneously respond to the questions. In an interview, they would not wait. They would not give you time to complete your answers. You have to answer them in that spur of moment. So you have to be very spontaneous, and that's why communication with effectiveness needs practice. The more you practice, the more confident you would be in communicating any message. Okay. For listening, you have to receive what is the message and then interpret that message. Okay. You have to put forth what are the basic ideas, what are the requirements, what are the essentials, who is speaking, what he or she is speaking about. So you have to listen them properly. Okay. Then while speaking, you are to express your thoughts and ideas verbally. You have to use words, your vocabulary, your sentence patterns, sentence structures are what going to help you in speaking. In reading, you have to decode written text. You have to understand specific information. You have to understand in-depth meaning, outward meaning, and then interpret about it. Okay. In writing, there are written words. Okay. There are skills to support in your interpersonal and professional communication. So in writing, you have to write emails, you have to write reports, research proposals, and there is where writing skill is important. There is where your writing skill would be evaluated, and you would be getting uh, your achievements, your opportunities through those writings. Okay. So for that you have to develop writing skill. So one by one we would focus on each skill. First is listening, that is receptive. Okay. Receptive means you Listen, you receive the information, okay, then interpret about it. So there is a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing is a biological process, it happens naturally, okay? But listening is more to do with your mind, your cognitive sense, your cognitive ability. So you have to develop that through constantly listening to that particular language, understanding those wordings, understanding the language in which communication is happening, and then interpret anything. Okay. So you have to be an active listener. Active is one who is very focused, very active, very engaged. Okay, someone who is active in the class might be an active listener. Okay, but passive is where you don't feel interested. You are just hearing it without any focus, without full attention. Partially, you might be interested, might be attentive, but not fully. That is where you have to have that thing in your mind that I have to be an active listener. Listen to the problems and then find solution about it. Listen it objectively. Listen the problems in your society. Listen the problems of the organization you have joined and try to solve those problems. Then only you would get a kind of opportunity there. Okay. These days layoffs are happening based on your communication skills a lot because of miscommunication you might lose your job. Okay. So you have to listen properly, listen to your clients, what they are expecting, what changes you have to make in your product, whether it be your software, whether it be your technical product, technical services. You have to have communication. You have to have proper active listening. And that is why you have to practice about it. Try to listen, try to interpret the patterns which are used in communication. Okay, there are similar types of patterns. Every language is not always different. Okay, there are some kind of patterns, some kind of similarities. So from those patterns, we deduct grammar, we deduct rules and regulations of that language. Okay, so for that, what you have to do is listen and then come up for some kind of conclusion. Okay, so next is speaking, where you have to speak. So, speaking is a productive skill because you would get instant feedback by your speaking. In an interview, you have to speak and you would instantly get a feedback or opportunity offer. So, it is a productive skill where it's a direct one-to-one interaction. Okay. So you have to speak in such a way that relationships should be built. There should be proper justification for your personal and professional life. Your personality should be visual, mm, should be visible through your language. Okay, how you speak, your verbal and non-verbal communication. We would come to it in later part of this class, but you have to focus on developing your speaking in such a way that your personality and your professional or your theoretical knowledge should be visible to the interviewer. Okay, it is very crucial for your presentations, interviews, and meetings. That is where um that is those are the areas where you have to work upon, and it is unavoidable part of your job. Okay, you have to present something, you have to have interviews, you have to conduct meetings or be in a meeting where you have to put forth your idea. So all those things can be done properly if your speaking, your communication is good. Okay, so I know it might be challenging somewhere where you might get stuck, like how to express my idea, how to express my thought or feeling properly. Others must not misinterpret it. Okay. So for that, what you have to do? So many of you ask, like, I know English, I can write English, but I cannot speak properly. So what to do about it? You have to understand seriousness. Okay. The thing is, don't be casual when it comes for communication. Okay. Your first impression is the last impression after all. So you